Hi everybody, Baruch Hashem, here we are on the eve of Shabbat of Chazak, V'Nitchazek. We're being Messiah, the fourth Chumash of the Torah, Bamidbar, Matot Masai. And we want to talk about some of the points that we see in this week's Parsha, in the Chok Yisrael, that how Hashem is talking to us and everything that's happening in the world today, especially with the events that happened this week. How Hashem is showing us that He is bringing the world into the final destination when the Moshiach is about to come, and how everybody should be ready and doing teshuvah, especially in this moment as we speak. With that Hashem, we know that Baruch Hashem, we heard about the killing of two arch enemies of the Jewish people, one in Beirut and one in Iran, in the heart of Tehran, the place where I grew up in. And Baruch Hashem, these are Rishaim that Hashem took them away. Now, what does this have to do with us? Okay, I'm here sitting in Yerushalayim learning Torah. You're there in America learning Torah or going to business, whatever. What does that have to do with us? It has everything to do with us. Because whatever Hashem does in this world is for us to wake up and do teshuvah. If it's in Tehran, if it's in Beirut, or if it's happening right now in Gaza, or in America, or wherever you're from. Because it says on the Wednesday's Chok Leisa, the Zohar and the Parsha, it talk about how when a Rasha is taken away from this world, how we should be, especially the Jewish people, we should be happy. It's a pasuk brought down in Mishlei, Uba'avut Reshaim Rina. When Reshaim, when the evildoers are destroyed in this world, there's serenity, there is happiness. And the Zohar goes on to say on the Chok Yisrael that Hashem just doesn't take the Rishaim away from this world before their time. Hashem waits for them to do teshuvah also. He gives everybody their fair chance, no matter how evil they are. And He waits and He waits. We learn this from the pasuk of when Hashem talks to Avraham Avinu. I think it's back in Parsha Lech Lecha, that He will not destroy the Amorites, the 7 Canaanite nations that were in Israel, until the 4th generation when the Jewish people are going to come back from Egypt. Why till then? Because up to that point, they haven't reached the point of no return. Everybody has a point when Hashem is giving them a chance to do teshuvah, and gives them more chances until He reaches the point of no return. Of course, no return means that every person could do teshuvah whenever they want. But He reaches the point that he has no more divine providence. And that point is very hard to come back. And when at that point, when Hashem brings the judgment on the person or the nation or whatever it is, then we say this pasuk of Uba'avot Reshaim Rina. Total happiness. Okay, but what about sometimes we see Rishaim that are going out of this world before their time? Like we saw by where? By Paro and the Egyptians drowning in the Red Sea. Our sages tell us that was before their time. And in fact, that's why the Malachim, the angels, the heavenly angels came to the heavenly court and said, I understand, they're drowning, so we should be happy. Hashem says, no, upstairs you shouldn't be happy because I had to take him away before their time. What about the Jewish people downstairs? Should they be happy when they saw the Egyptians who put their children into buildings alive and tortured them for 210 years? Should they be happy? 100% they should be happy. Hashem tells the angels, you angels upstairs, you have nothing to do with downstairs. Over here, everybody sees that everything is for the good. Everybody sees the light. Downstairs, sometimes people think, why is this happening? Why is this Russia in charge? Why is this evil thing happening and Hashem is not taking it away? So things are a little shaded. We don't see the total providence of Hashem. But when Hashem goes out of His way and drowns the Rishaim into the sea, the Jews should be up and dancing like they did. They said, Az Yashem Moshe, they said, this is the point that Rabbi Avigdor Morir talks about. that when Hashem's vengeance on the Rishayim, even if the time has not come yet, He does vengeance to them, we have to be very happy. Question is, but it's not fair. Hashem is a very fair judge. If it's not time yet, why should we be happy when they're trying? And why is Hashem taking it away before the time? The Zohar answers that question. Because they go beyond the role that they were supposed to be playing. Hashem told the Egyptians, I'm making a decree that my children are going to be in Egypt for this amount of time. But who said you have to put their kids into the walls? Who said you have to torture them like that? You are beyond the line of duty. So therefore, I'm going to take you away before time comes. And my children, when they see that, oh, they should be happy. We see Hitler hanging in the street or dying from whatever he died from when he poisoned himself. You got to be jumping of joy. If you're not, you have a major problem. Either you don't see what Hitler does or did to the Jewish people, or maybe you sympathize with him or empathize with him. Then you're no better than him. Like today we see in Gaza, the poor Gazans are dying. The poor terrorists are dying. Maybe you should stop. The Jewish people are being too harsh on them. They forgot what happened on October 7th. How they were raping women and killing people and burning their bodies. But Hashem knows when the time comes. And when they go beyond the line of duty, what they were supposed to do, Hashem takes it before their time. And when we see, Rav Avigdor Miller says, when we see Haman and his 10 sons hanging, we should be going around and dancing and being happy. Because when we do that, we're making a big Kiddush Hashem. Why is that a big Kiddush Hashem? Because we're showing our happiness, the fact that Hashem is taking revenge on evil people. Which is one of the 13 principles of faith that we say every morning. That Hashem is Ma'anish Rashayim and Mishaleh Sachar Tov L'Sadikim. When the time comes, Hashem will take judgment. This is not a free-for-all. People think this guy is living in life, he's doing all the averot, he's having a good time. Sooner or later he's going to get it. If not in this world, in the world to come, which is going to be much worse. So you got to be doing teshuvah right now. Right now, before that missile goes into the house and explodes like it did in Tehran or in Beirut. Hashem is doing all this to wake us up. He doesn't want to do it to us. He does it to the Rishayim. Because he wants his children to wake up. So we could be Chozer Meshuvah, but Teshuvah, and he could bring the Moshiach with Chesed v'Rachamim, with kindness and with mercy. And that's what the Pasuk says, which is also be said on Wednesday, the Shir Shal Yom. El Nakamod Hashem, El Nakamod Ofiyah. When Hashem is making judgment and making Nekama of the Goyim, vengeance, the Pasuk continues, Hinaseh Shofet Haaretz, Hashem Gemul Al Geim. When Hashem is taking revenge on the Geim. Geim is also, I think, means the homos and all those people who are making abominations in the world and trying to make transgender to children, little children, that they don't have to tell their children. How low can we get already? Disgusting. Hashem wants to bring the vengeance already. Has enough already. How much rachum v'chanun can it be? Wake up already. That's what Hashem is telling us. So all the things that are going around us. And when we do that, then we give crown and proudness to Hashem. As like the Pasuk says, Hashem Gevul Lavesh. The only person that could honor himself, and put the crown on, and so show his majesty, is none other than Hashem. He's the one that will have geut, the haughtiness, because it comes to us. It comes to him. Like we say in Yom Kippur, that kavod and haughtiness, it's only for you. Because you're the only majesty that could bring the exact judgment to every person like the way it is. On that note, we move on to the Zohar that was brought actually in this week's Parsha, this coming Sunday. he talks about how after Hashem puts in his cloth of vengeance and his haughtiness to show the evil people what is coming for them, he talks about how Hashem, like we said, drowned Paro and the Egyptians in the sea. And that showed his majesty, that he's taking vengeance. What does that have to do with us? The Zohar continues. And that's what's going to be happening very soon. When all the nations are coming around Yerushalayim, we have that idiot Erdogan, whatever his name is, the president of Turkey, and all the other Rishayim talking about, we're going to come conquer, we're going to do this. They're killing the innocent Gaza children, they're killing the this and that. Hashem is going to bring all the Rishayim of all the generations. Reincarnation. Nebuchadnezzar, Paro, Antioch, all these people who tortured the Jewish people, they're here today in reincarnation. Could be all these leaders that we hear that they hate the Jews so much. And Hashem is going to bring them closer and closer to Yerushalayim. But then it says that Hashem is going to come and He's going to take the revenge. You don't have to lift a finger. No planes, no atomic bombs, nothing. Hashem is going to take vengeance for His children. The time has come, and He will do it. He's going to bring them all down in reincarnations, and when they all think that they're going to come and fight the Moshiach, and in effect saying that we're going to fight you, Hashem, like they never learned the lesson of Tower of Babel, that you're going to fight against God? You didn't see what happened to Paro and Sancherib? All the Rishayim, Nebuchadnezzar, what they try to do to Hashem's children? But no, that's what a Rasha is. A Rasha all the way to the point of hell. He doesn't come back. That's why Moshiach, when he comes very soon, Hashem is going to come and take vengeance from all the people, especially those who come to Yerushalayim. I had a conversation with a friend earlier this week, on Sunday, before all the assassinations. He said, aren't you worried about it in Israel? I said, Israel is the safest place to be, because we have the promise in the Zohar that Hashem Himself is going to come and take the vengeance of all the nations that come upon Eretz Yisrael and Yerushalayim. In fact, anybody who's not here, I'll be telling them that they should be worried. Hashem Yishmor. We pray for the safety of all the Jewish people, and also it should be with Chesed Rachamim. But don't get it wrong. Eretz Yisrael is the safest place, because this is the palace of the king, and Hashem takes care of His palace. So everybody's talking about the revenge of Iran, what's going to be, what have you, whatever it is. We're going to be steadfast to our emunah and bitachon that like Hashem has always taken care of us, He's going to be taking care of us today also, especially in these diligent moments. On that note, we're going to go into a very special point that could learn a very special lesson that's very relevant to today. Every person, especially every Jew, has to ask himself, am I working to live? Am I living to work? Big difference. Am I working to live, to have bread to eat in order to sit down and learn the ways of God, how to be a moral person? Or am I living to work until the guy has a heart attack and dies and he can't even enjoy his money anymore? What does that have to do with the Parsha? It says, B'nai Gad and Reuben, we have two tribes that are coming and asking Moshe Rabbeinu. We know that they had a lot of animals that were hefker, that they when they beat Sichon and Og, the two kings, on the doorsteps of Eretz Yisrael, they got incredible amount of hefker animals, and people came and took this one, this and this and that, but it was so much. Let's say millions of cattle, more than any you could imagine in Texas with the cowboys. So Reuben, who's always, he got it from the genes of his father, the tribe of Reuben, that he would never take anything except from the hefker, meaning he would never steal, he never go and cheat this person, that person in order to become a millionaire. If it's ownerless, I'll take it. We see that by Reuben when he went to get the dudaim, the special herbs for his mother, Leah, in order for her to have more kids, to have more tribes coming to the world, he went to a Hefker area. The Pasuk of the Torah says that he went into an ownerless field, he got it from there, and he came back. And he gave those genes to his children. Never to steal. Of course, all the Jewish people. But Reuben had this special quality. And also Gad, the tribe of Gad, who was a neighbor to Reuben, he learned this special quality not to take anything from stealing, only from ownerless property. That's why they took everything else that other people didn't want, because they had so much of it. But in a way, that was their downfall. They meant well, but it was their downfall. They came to Moshe and said, look, you have a lot of herd. You have a lot of sheep and cows, what have you. And the land of Transjordan, before entering Eretz Israel, it's huge. Look at all the pasture. Let us have this piece of land. Then Moshe Rabbeinu goes back and forth. You know, we're losing out. Eretz Israel is very important, and you're making the Jews lose their momentum going to Eretz Israel. So they promised, no, we're going to go into Eretz Israel, and we're going to fight with them. And then when we're done, we're going to come back and build our cities over here. But in the Pasuk, they said something that was very wrong. Although they had good intentions. But in the subconscious, their fault came out. The Pasuk brings it out, the verse. They told Moshe, we will build for our animals places that they could be. And then they mentioned their kids. We'll build houses for our wives and kids. Moshe Rabbeinu says, look, the money that you have in front of right now is blinding you. You're mentioning your animals and your source of income before your kids. And that's very wrong. So they correct themselves. You're right. We'll build for our kids and our family first, houses, and then for our livestock. For all the cows and what have you. But that wasn't enough. The Yitzhar was already inside of them. The hunger for money. Of course, these are very holy people. We can't talk about them like this. But if the Pasuk is bringing it, is trying to teach us what we're thinking about subconscious. For example, someone's living in a very nice Jewish neighborhood. Everybody's Haredi. They have a school system. They have Bet Knesset. They have a community. And all of a sudden, the husband comes home, or the wife, says, look, I got a new deal. They're offering us to go to, I don't know, Alabama. Some far off town. New Mexico. Some place where there's not a lot of big Jewish community. But we're going to make $1 million a year for 5 years. Let's do it. We'll go and come back. Sounds good. Sounds logical. We'll have money for our kids to put them in school, etc. Well, what about the congregation for 5 years? What about your kids going to school? Put them in public school, where they teach them to be trans and changing their sexes? For 5 years, they're going to have the poison of a non-Jewish environment. But you made $5 million! You came back! Well, what about the poison? You're putting your materialistic life before your spiritual life. And then in 20 years, even when you come back after 5 years, when your son wants to marry Christine, and your daughter wants to marry Leroy, you look up and say, wow, was it $5 million worth it? No, it wasn't. You learn from Gad and Reuven, where we're about to make this decision. Financially very luring. But what's going to be Ezu Chacham Anoret Anolad? Let's look 5 years and 10 years down the line. The move I'm about to make now. How's it going to affect me, my wife, or my kids? Is it worth it? If it's not worth it, don't move. Hashem has many ways to bring you money. Lo lechachamim lechem. Your 7 PhDs won't do it for you. If Hashem wants you to be rich, He'll make you rich. He's giving you a test right now. You're going to leave the community? Or are you going to stick to your community? And B'ezrat Hashem, Hashem sees you passing the test, He'll bring you the fortune also. And even if you don't become a millionaire, Your biggest fortune is that your family stayed within the Jewish community that goes along with the Torah. Ask any millionaire you want today. Multi-millionaires. The kids are on drugs. The daughters are, I don't want to say what. They're shalom bayit. But they have all the money. A peace of mind cannot be bought. If you're in the Jewish environment community, Orthodox, and going by the Torah, think 100,000 times before you move away from your community. And we see also over here, but Gad and Reuben, they're the first ones that they got exiled. And after that, the 10 Shvatim. Why? Because the Pasuk says, that's so much money! They're eating and drinking and having the steak parties and what have you. And that's what the Pasuk says. תחת שבעתם את השם אלוקיך בשמחה ובטוב לבב מקרוב. You know why all the bad things happen? The exile and all the curses that are written in Kitavo, in the Torah? Because you did not worship Hashem with happiness. Because of all the mansions and the riches and what have you blinded you. And that's why they went to the exile. But the tribe of Benjamin and Yehuda, although they went to exile 200 years later, 150 years, but at least they had the Beit HaMikdash. They stuck with spirituality as much as they could. That's what Moshe is telling them. You want to separate yourself, Gad and Reuben? You want to be in Transjordan? What about the Beit HaMikdash? What about the community inside Eretz Israel? No, it's okay, Rabbi. We'll be in touch. Send me a YouTube video. That's not enough. You have to be involved in the community. In places where have synagogues and Beis Yaakovs and Talmud Torahs, or else a person could get lost. Chas v'shalom. We're finishing off. The last 2 points over here. One is, in the beginning of the Parsha Masai, it talks about all the different points. Moshe Rabbeinu is reviewing all the 42 parts of the desert that Hashem took him to show God's chesed. Rashi explains his kindness, how much he helped them get through the hot desert with all the wild animals, snakes, scorpions, what have you, and they made it after 40 years, which is impossible. Food coming from Shamayim, they have the Be'er Shel Miyam for water. And Rashi brings the mashal as a mashal like a father whose only son was sick, and he had to take him to a doctor, which is miles away. And on the way back, after he gets healed, the child, he shows him, this is the place where you fell. This is the place where your temperature went up even higher. Why? Because he wants to show how much he cares for him. So to Hashem, he's showing us all these different travel places in Egypt. I'm sorry, when we came out of Egypt, in the desert, to show us how much he loved us and loves us. But there's also another mashal which is brought by the Gentile world. This is something that I heard when I was a kid growing up also. And I heard it Lev Aaron, Rav Brown was explaining it. A parable of a father who's walking with his son. And you could see the footsteps by the seashore over there. And on the way back, when they're coming back, the son is saying, wait, there are places where I don't see my footsteps. It's only your footsteps. What happened over here? So the father explains, over here there were stones, I picked you up. Over there a shark came to a cag, so I picked you up again. So Rav Brown explains, this is a very beautiful thing. But it's not Jewish. The Jewish way of thinking is that Hashem is with us even at the good times. Not by the rocks and all the hardships we have on the way. Hashem is picking us up all the time. We're going on eagle's wings. Hashem brought us out. Said if there's any arrows coming, as it were, we go to his heart and not to us. It's always protecting us. And that's the promise that we have today. Everybody's fearing what's going to be. The rockets from Iran, Hezbollah, this and that. Hashem is in charge. And like the Pasuk says in the Haftarah, of this week's Parsha. It says over there, and if you return to me. Put your garbage away. All the iPhones that you learn bad things from, and you don't use it for the things that you need to do, put it away. All the goyish things that you put in your head from all the media and the goyish world, put it away. If you're going to return to me. Trust in me. Like the daughters of Salafchat said, you want to partner in Israel. So what if you have no brothers? Hashem says, give it to them. They want me in their life. If you want me, then I'm going to be there to protect you. But show me. Show me that you want me. You said last week, the king right now is in the Sadeh, in the fields. You don't need a 6-month appointment. He's coming and knocking on your door, asking what do you want. Are you going to ask, give me a this and that and this and that that's going to be gone tomorrow? You're going to say, Abba, I want you in my life. Because if I have you, I have everything. Bezat Hashem, you should be smart enough to make the decision and ask Hashem that please come and take us back like the days of yore. Bring your Shekhinah back to the Beit HaMikdash and rebuild it. Bezat Hashem, going into the Shabbat of Chazak v'nitchazek, you should run straight into the time of the Moshiach when Hashem is going to save us with Chesed Rachamim. Bimhera v'emenu amen. Shabbat shalom warach.
Shabbat shalom.